Hello, hello, my lovely sovereign sisters. I need you all to do me a favor. No one's in here yet, but to the people that come in here, can you all just put a one in the chat just to let me know that the sound is okay because I am doing this with my microphone. So please, before we get started, let's just do a audio check. So if you can hear me clearly, I would really appreciate if you all would put a one in the chat. Just want to make sure this mic is working. Okay, we got a couple ones. That's enough for me. Okay, so we're going to get right into it. So the reason why I actually got inspired to do a video on this subject matter is because of the public offender. Love public offender, love his content. And he had also covered this, I guess, debate, I guess you could call it, between Tony Gaskins and Ace Metaphor. Now, before I dissect this debate between the both of them, I just want to make it very clear. Tony Gaskins, love his content. Ace Metaphor, love his content. I know Ace Metaphor is getting fucking exposed right now. So that's neither here or there. I just want to be able to just dissect the content and kind of leave it at that. But the reason why this debate between Ace Metaphor and Tony Gaskins really stood out to me is because I believe that a lot of women and men alike, we have always been told that your validity when it comes to relationships, your validity comes from your marital status. So I'm not going to take advice from someone that's not married. How do you know? How do you know? And it's as if, if you don't have married on your resume, you're not allowed to have any insight, as if just because you're not married, you don't know about human nature. Just because you're not married, you don't know what people are capable of doing. And I feel as though Tony Gaskins, although he does create content, he does have a lot of very, very strong talking points. He does seem to advocate, for the most part, for women, and does make content that can help women. I also do feel as though the pedestal that individuals put themselves on just because they're married, it's not always valid, and it's not always a reflection of your knowledge just because you are married. And I feel as though this interview, this debate between Tony Gaskins and Ace Metaphor, I feel as though it really, really shows how just because you're married doesn't mean that you are 100% valid, signed, sealed, delivered to be able to give dating advice, especially when you've been out of the dating streets for as long as Tony Gaskins has been. He has been married for 20 years. Okay. So I appreciate you all with the compliments, complimenting my setup. Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy. I'm glad. And hello, all of my lovely ladies. Thank you guys for letting me know that the sound is good in the chats. Happy about that. Okay, we are going to watch this debate 1.5. If we can still have clarity in 1.5, I might do it to 2.0 because I don't want us to be here all day, and I have multiple pieces of content that I feel like will back up my argument. So let me go ahead and share the screen with you all. Whoops. Oh, no, we're not going to share the screen. So before I actually put up the debate, they don't show you the clip as to what created the debate. Okay. So let me show you all the clip that started the debate in the first place. And this is what Tony Gaskins had said in reference to Ace Metaphor.
People who have not been in a successful relationship going on tour and creating their relationship narrative.
Ace Metaphor actually it just entered the video.
That's crazy.
And I think he wants to actually respond on his perspective.
What is the purpose of dating? If you're being intentional,
is to find a husband or wife.
Correct.
Is that the reason why everyone dates?
If someone is dating for sex, us as people with a platform should be promoting what is going to benefit society, not what is going to confuse society.
When the last time you've been actively dating multiple people?
Dating is principle based. It doesn't matter if it's 2023 or 1903. Love does not change because God is love.
But to say how things should work for all people and dismiss everyone else is irresponsible.
Hey, calm down though, bro, because you're getting a little too much bass in your voice. Living this as a husband and a
Your
father,
truth,
which is successful for
you
and for our community. It's not just for me. We have people.
Okay, so that set the precedent for this debate in the first place. I'll just give a quick little bit. I don't know what it is, but I'm really, really tired of men saying that marriage like you being married, having a 2-parent household, you creating a nuclear family, you starting a family, yada, 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 benefits society. It doesn't benefit society. It benefits the people that are in power because they are making money off of the fact that you have to go to work. Okay, so you have to go to work, which means that anywhere between 8 to 12, sometimes 16 hours a day, you won't even be able to spend time with your family. And you're making someone else money. And then when it comes time, by the time you come home, you're exhausted, you're tired. You don't have enough time in order to spend time with your kids. So this whole rhetoric, especially from married men or men who are trying to dangle the carrot and try to convince women to get married, they're always trying to make it seem as if it is something that you should be doing for the collective, that it is something that you should be doing for society. And that's the reason why the people are in power. They have so much wealth and they have so much money because they were lying. Okay. When you have a family, you no longer, I don't want to say no longer, but you are kind of robbed of the ability to focus on what your own purpose is because people in power, the societal standard is trying to tell you what your purpose is. And this is what Ace Metaphor is trying to argue with Tony Gaskins. We came in here alone, and we came in here alone for a reason. If everything was meant for the society and for the collective, you wouldn't be coming in here. You wouldn't be coming in this earth alone because you have your own purpose as an individual. And so society tries to tell you, no, your purpose is to find someone. You're supposed to go to college. You're supposed to get married. You're supposed to buy a home, and you're supposed to have children. And that is your purpose. And so that's where all of this debate kind of stemmed from. Okay, so let me shut up and let me share my screen with y'all so we can listen and watch this debate.
I want to actually do this because you never know who's watching the show. And it's actually interesting here that I actually have on here the brother Ace Metaphor actually just entered
the chat.
It just entered the video.
That's crazy.
And I think he wants to actually respond on his perspective because the brother is literally in here backstage right now.
Wow.
As I'm taking video calls. Now, if that's okay, do you mind me bringing up Ace? Let him say his point?
Oh my.
So sorry, I just want to add in this tidbit. The people, I think this is highly initiated podcast. They were smart to do this because they wanted to put Tony Gaskins on blast. They knew exactly what the fuck they were doing because Tony Gaskins did not know that Ace Metaphor was actually going to be on the podcast with him to debate. So Tony Gaskins did not have any type of preparation in order for this debate. So I feel like he's able to really shine his repertoire when it comes to the validity of him being able to be a dating coach and having the status of him being valid just because he is married.
Ace, so I'm actually about to bring Ace up here to the forefront. And
what's going on?
Ace, what is popping with you, Ace? We got Ace TV live in effect. What's up, Ace?
Hey, you know when you got to go to the basement and turn on the studio lights and say, "What's up, man? What's going on?"
Wow.
Hey,
nice to meet you.
Everybody knows this setup right here, Ace.
Yes, sir. How y'all been, brothers?
Good, man. Good.
Good.
Yeah, glad you joined us, man. Look, glad you got the production set up too. Got that lighting going.
Yeah, and see the thing about it is, Ace, I'm actually it's interesting that you came up here. Shout out for you being on the Harley Initiated video right now. Obviously, you know Tony has made the way he feels and his stance clear about making sure that people are able to get the best guidance possible from the coaches and the experts in the space. And your platform actually was one that was mentioned. So what's your take and what's your perspective on what was stated?
So first, did you hear what was stated?
Yeah, I'll rewatch it. Everybody, internet is funny. They tag you real fast. So here's the thing. I respectfully disagree with my brother there. And the reason why I disagree is because there are all sorts of people from all sorts of walks of life. While I understand your perspective as a married man, brother, and this is also tagged along to the Instagram post that you guys made a couple weeks ago. While I do understand your perspective, there are so many people right now struggling with dating, getting in and out of situationships, relationships, getting their heart broken. And even then I can say to you, brother, that maybe you're out of touch there. You know what I'm saying? So there are people that I bring on my panel that have walked and touched all different parts of life. This woman may be able to speak to this particular experience. This man may be able to speak to that particular experience. And that might reach somebody in that audience a little bit differently than you can. It doesn't mean that it's better, worse, or indifferent. It just means there are different perspectives. To think that all human beings are monolithic, that our walks of life all take the same course and the same path, and that there's one set of advice to give to all different people, to me seems out of touch. And it disqualifies a lot of people's personal experiences. One of the things I want to correct real quick that I heard that was spoken, now that we know the name is on there, like, we do have married people on our panel. That was the most confusing part about the whole thing. There are married people and there are actual relationship coaches and professionals that we bring. We have had therapists, we have had life coaches, we have had mentors, we've had people that are actively in the community be regular parts of our discussions. And so I just felt like it was a little bit of misinformation, and it comes from not actually, observing what we got going on.
I observe what you have going on, but let me ask you this: what is the purpose of dating?
It depends on who you asking. My purpose, if you ask me specifically,
in the scope of society, in the scope of family, what is the purpose of dating?
For some people, for a large percentage of the people, the scope of dating, if you're being intentional, is to find a husband or wife.
Correct. So,
but let me ask you this question, a follow-up question. Is that the reason why everyone dates?
Is that the reason
why everybody dates? Is that the reason?
But what I'm saying is,
you lose a debate the second that you cannot answer a question directly. As soon as someone asks you a question, and you cannot definitively give an answer, I feel like you lost points from the debate. And the reason why Tony deflected from Ace asking him that question is because he backed Tony into a corner, because not everyone is dating in order to get married. Shira 7 has over 710 subscribers right now. There are 710,000 most likely women who are watching content where they are dating to get a provider. Okay, they out here dating only if it means that they can get them some money. So not every single person is out here trying to have a relationship just based upon marriage. And I feel like it's important to highlight this, because he is pretty much, what he is doing or trying to do is pretty much say that because I'm married and you're not, this is the way it has to be. Your opinion is only valid, and what you are saying is only valid, and the only way that you should be dating is in order for you to get married. And he's also very Christian. Tony Gaskins is 100% Christian. And so it's this self-righteous, holier than thou type of energy that he has when he is on this debate, because he's pretty much saying, well, I'm married and I'm Christian and I've been married for 20 years. And so if you don't do it the way that I do it, and if you aren't out here getting married, if you aren't out here dating in order to get married, you are doing it the wrong way. Did anyone date at 20 years old the same way that they date at 30 years old? I don't think so. I don't think people date at 20 years old the same way that they date at 30 years old. And the reason being is because you want different things when you're 20 years old versus when you're 30 years old. So you can't sit here and say, oh, well, if you are not out here intentionally dating and your intention is to get married, you shouldn't be dating at all. You are over here just wasting everyone's time and yada, yada, yada. Everyone don't want the same thing, and people are allowed to change their mind. People are allowed to evolve and progress and change their mind about something. TV love is not real. So women are just trying to get what they can. Like, nobody's trying to be delusional anymore. Exactly. And Tony Gaskins is just purposely trying to misunderstand Ace, because that's the part that he won't expose. That's the part that he won't say, is that you're all he's doing is just saying that I have on a veil. Okay, I have on a veil, and this is how I have to present. But I'm not going to tell you how I really am. I'm not going to tell you about how these dudes really can be in order for people to go in with different reasonings as to why they are dating. And someone said, and not everyone cares about the Bible. Yeah, Ace mentions that, but we'll get back into it.
Is we shouldn't promote what the devil doing. We shouldn't promote what is disadvantageous. So if someone is dating for sex, if someone is dating for fun, us as people with a platform should be promoting what is going to benefit society, not what is going to confuse society. So Albert Einstein said you cannot solve a problem from the same level it was created. So having people who are dating, talking to people who are dating, someone who's dating can't help someone who's dating because
let me ask y'all this. Do y'all think Tony Gaskins waited until he was married to have sex with his wife? Do y'all think Tony Gaskins waited until he was married to sleep with his wife? Because he just said that sleeping, he literally just said that sleeping with other people when you're not married, that's the devil's work. He said that's the devil's work. Exactly. It goes back to this mindset that a lot of men have, and that a lot of people believe that because someone is married, everything that is coming out of their mouth is 100% accurate. It's 100% correct, and they know what they're talking about. This man ain't wait till marriage to sleep with his wife. So you calling people casually sleeping with each other, situationships, yada, yada, yada. Come on, you don't have a clean record either to be trying to determine what is the devil and what is not the devil.
The goal of dating is marriage. So a married person can tell someone who is dating, this is what you need to look out for while you're dating. This is what you need to check off. This is what you need.
When the last time you've been actively dating multiple people? When the last time you've actively been dating? Like not your wife, but you've been in a dating market.
This is what you have to understand.
No, so it's the question. You asked me a very direct question. I gave you an answer.
I'm answering you. I'm
okay,
answering you. Dating is principle based. It doesn't matter if it's 2023 or 1903. A relationship is based on principles, not the culture, not the trend, not the fad. Love does not change. Love stays the same because God is love and God does not change. Love is not contingent upon strip clubs and pornography and Instagram and social media. So the same way that my wife and I dated is the same way that people who will have a healthy marriage date today. But what you're trying to say is that we should date differently today.
There is no predictor of how you date that's going to set the precedence for how healthy a relationship or marriage is. There is no dating stance that you have that is going to allow you to predict and know that you are going to be in a perfect relationship or marriage. Once again, it's trying to make it seem, it's this whole rhetoric of going ahead and buy a lottery ticket. All you have to do is win the lottery. So they try to make it seem as if winning the lottery is going to be easy. So they're just like, oh, go buy a lottery ticket and go win the lottery, knowing damn well that it's not easy. You have very, very low chances of winning the lottery. There is no playbook. There is no playbook to this type of stuff. And this is why it's very, very easy for married men to be able to make a platform on here by being dating coaches, because it's this constant belief that because you are married, you know everything. Women were dead at 49. The people aren't even from 1903. Exactly. Like, come on.
Because it's 2023. And that's not true, because a relationship is based on principles. So
now,
what
is that, before you go forward, let me say this. I want to be very clear here. Specifically, I said people are not monolithic. Right now, you're bringing in God, devil, the Bible, and those are your particular principles. And I respect that, brother. I grew up religious too. I respect what you're saying. Dating, the main purpose of dating, it should be to find a mate. People shouldn't have sex before marriage. From the biblical perspective, I understand your perspective, brother, but I'm not going to dismiss your perspective simply because it doesn't align with mine or this person's or that person. I think the particular problem isn't me saying that your take is wrong. I respect it. I enjoy listening to your content. But to say how things should work for all people and dismiss everyone else that doesn't speak your particular alignment, to me, is irresponsible. And the reason I say that is because there are all sorts of people doing all sorts of things, loving all sorts of ways. And if you think that your way is the only way that works, brother, I commend you. I'm just saying there are people from all walks of life that need to hear other perspectives, either to solidify theirs or make them curious about another way that could work better for them. Brother, the one thing you said that was really interesting to me.
You're telling me who you're working for.
You said what?
You're telling me who you're working for.
And that's why a lot of people, look,
but meaning you
when you say that, you go, what you're saying,
you're working to provide a platform for all of the voices, for all the different types of people, because people are not a monolith. So the voices that you are giving a platform to have no success if they are not in a healthy relationship.
I just told you that there are people on our panel that are married.
Exactly. That's not what's being posted.
Hey, I got a quick question here, Ace, because just to see if there's even any common ground, do you feel like there are some people who should not be putting out relationship content? Do you also feel like there is a group of people who you would deem unqualified to speak on these topics?
Personally?
Yes.
Man, it's real interesting. I'm so busy with my play, brother, that I don't really look across the aisle. There are content creators that I don't particularly vibe with. I don't like their rhetoric. I don't like the way they speak to women in general.
Well, I'm not being specific about any one person. I just mean like, do you more so? Because obviously Tony pretty much stands on, if you're not married, like you should not necessarily be putting out this work.
I think that's probably, respectfully, man, I think that is
or you just have to frame the conversation. You have to frame the conversation. You have to say, this is not relationship advice. This is my dating experience.
Brother, I don't really think that. I don't. Just to your point, and to answer the question before, do I feel like there are people that are not qualified to give general advice or relationship advice to a large percentage of the public? Absolutely. I think that there's people that are not qualified to my metrics. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a problem with somebody getting up here and saying, this is why I think this or I think that. But what I am saying is for us to not acknowledge the diversity in people and thought processes and ways in which relationships and love can work for many different people. That to me is hard to wrap my head around. That's the thing that I want to say. It's hard for me to wrap my mind around. It sounds elitist. It sounds like, you know what I'm saying? And then when you said something, Tony, respectfully, when you said you're working for the other side, brother, that's why a lot of people struggle. Because I think you're implying that the other side is the devil, right? Is that what you're implying?
Meaning you're working for the other side of providing confusion. Because if you have 6 voices on it.
He 100% meant the other side was the devil. He 100% meant that the other side was the devil because he's trying to demonize what he is talking about, because Ace doesn't create this content that's over here trying to tell people how to get a ring or how to get married and, your Christian faith and yada, yada, yada. And they do like hearing themselves talk. Honestly, it gets even funnier. Y'all are going to start, like, honestly, if you haven't watched this interview, I kid you not, in some more minutes, y'all are going to start busting out laughing because they won't shut the hell up. Okay, they won't shut the hell up. And then number 2, they say that we're emotional and we be having cat fights and everything like that. Oh, just wait and see. Just wait and see. A part of why I wanted to show this was to also highlight the fact that men are just as emotional as women. Men are just as catty as women. They be going back and forth constantly. So you'll see.
On the stage, and there's 6 different messages, people leave more confused than they came. And if the people who we are seeing by the millions are not saying anything worthwhile, but it's a meaningless back and forth conversation that does not bring a solution, that does not help us build families, that does not help us better raise children, that does not help us climb the ladder as a people, as a group who are struggling economically, struggling relationally, struggling in every way. When we provide conversations that only bring confusion and don't bring clarity,
it really don't seem like, in my opinion, you actually pay much attention to what we got going on over here, brother. And that's respectfully. I'm respectfully saying when you can use the adjectives you want to use, and empty messages, you can use all these adjectives, but just because you're making these blanket statements, that's why I said it's dangerous. It's dangerous when you're making blanket statements without having no factual information.
It's not a blanket.
It is a blanket statement. You're making blanket statements and you're putting people's names in it. I'm
living this as a husband and a
your
father.
Your truth,
which is successful for you and for our community. It's not just for me. Principles are principles. But your principle, you're not the only person with principles. You're promoting casual sex. You're promoting culture. And then you say, let me ask you this. You having a conversation? You watching me online. You say you appreciate my message. Why haven't you called me to your conversation?
You know what? Why he doing all that? Look, why he doing all that?
And that's what this is really about. Tony is mad. Tony feels some type of way because Ace did not invite him to be a part of tonight's conversation. That's what this is really about. Because remember, in the first, it was either at the beginning of this video or the last video when they chopped up like the whole podcast, the whole 4-hour long podcast, he had said, oh, well, there's some people that don't want to invite me, onto their platform or let me be onto his platform. Because he feels like because he is married and because he's been married for 20 years, that he should be entitled to get onto other people's platforms. And then that's not how it works. Just because you think that you're the king of the castle, okay, you're the king of your castle. You're the king of your castle. It don't mean that someone else has to allow you to put you on your platform. He can give advice on how to stay married to other married couples. Coaching them makes sense. Married people don't realize that not every marriage is one to look up to. The worst thing they could have done is give men mics. I know. Okay, let's get back into it.
Listen, he doing all that.
You say you bringing all the voices. You say you bringing all.
Whoa. You doing all that? You doing all that?
How you not gonna call somebody who got 3.5 million people online and have been in the trenches since 2007, but you bringing all the sides? You ain't bringing all the sides. You ain't bringing all the sides. You bringing the side that you want to bring, and then you trying to take me to task for my words, and you trying to hold me for every word, but you didn't catch that you just called what you doing a play. I call what I do purpose.
What do you? I don't know what you mean about a play.
You just said I'm so focused on my play.
So plate PLATE plate. This is the I messaged you March 10th. Yo, would love to feature you on my podcast. We're shooting April 28th, 29th. Any interest? And then it was like an automatic reply that said you don't receive messages, so I didn't attempt that way again. Brother, like, respect.
Yeah, bro, I got a website, man. You know how to reach me. I got a website.
I'm 35, brother. We do things a little differently.
I'm 39, bro. Don't act like you in another generation.
So here's the thing. It sounds like we might be seeing TG on the next
tonight conversation.
That's what it sounds like.
Just him and Ace, by the way. That's enough. That's enough for the stage. Just him and Ace.
You know you can't put this. You know you can't put a brother like this on the stage with anybody that's even halfway single. Now here's the thing. Here's what I want to ask about this.
Listen, I don't mind being single people. What I'm saying is frame the conversation. We can't let it go out as relationship advice. This is a single experience, or this is a hookup experience, or this is I'm divorced and I'm telling you what went wrong in my marriage. But this is going out to the millions as relationship advice. And so what I'm saying is, if you send the message of a single man who is having sex with women and dating, if you send that message viral, give the equal pressure and push of the therapist that you say you have on there, or the married person that you say you have on there who is happy and healthy, and do that split test of A and B so that it balances the conversation. Anytime I see something from tonight's conversation, it's on the same side of the line.
Oh my God. I feel bad for his wife. I feel bad for his wife. Oh my God. Could y'all imagine Tony Gaskins going on a tangent? Oh my God. I feel so bad for his wife because God damn. He is talking. He is not saying a goddamn thing. Oh my God. Like, what are you saying? Like, what are you even saying?
Line. And it is very confusing. I don't know what I just heard, what the purpose of it was. It's a man arguing at a woman, one arguing at a man, and there's no solution, there's no takeaway. It's all sensationalism. And one thing that I know is happening is money is being made, but there's no progress being made. And then a lot of times, if it's progress, we're going to feel it. And so my thing is, I'm not with the confusion and the games. I'm very direct in what I say. I'm very real about what I stand on. And at this stage in our life, especially in the Black race, we need results. We need solutions. We need progression. We need.
Yeah,
we need healthy families.
I want to respond to that because again,
are you married?
No, I'm not. Again,
so how
hey, brother, I don't let you get your long little monologues out, and I just want to respond.
The same tactics that men use with women are the same exact tactics that they use on one another. They're going to point something. They're going to ask you a question, and they know the answer to the question. They're going to ask you the answer to the question, knowing what the answer is going to be, and then they're going to try to strike you out as not being valid enough or as not being legit enough to be able to give your opinion or say something. Like, come on. Gemini men are special case.
What I'm saying to you is, I wish you would say I more when you speak. This is how I feel. This is what I think. This is the path. Because my only issue with what you're saying is you're not including that. Brother, if that works for you, great. But you have to understand the people that come ask questions at our shows, they're asking about them having casual sex. They're asking about this heartbreak that they don't experience. They're asking about how do they find themselves again, how to have self-forgiveness, how to do this, that, and other. They're asking about a host of different things, brother. And sometimes I'm the most qualified person to speak to their experience or to give them advice on it. Sometimes it's Kitty. Sometimes it's Trip, the person you said, oddly, never been that guy, but I've known Trip since we were kids and he's always been that guy. My point I'm trying to make is it would probably benefit to do a little bit more homework here. You know what I'm saying? And that's me being respectful. And then when you speak to every clip that you've seen, every 60-second clip that you've seen may speak more about your algorithm than you think. Brother, we post a host of different clips. If you go down our page right now, you'll see 4 or 5 clips on forgiveness. You'll see 4 or 5 clips on motherhood. You'll see 4 or 5 clips on us progressing as Black people in this country. And my point is, even further, if you want to actually watch the episodes, you'll get a further context. Brother, I can't speak for your algorithm, brother. Yes, we post a host of different.
Clocked it. Because even I follow Ace Metaphor, and I've been following Ace Metaphor for quite some time. I didn't even know that there was any content that was made that was ever like promoting, casual schmex or anything like that. I had no idea. I'm just going based off of what Tony is saying. However, it is reflective of your algorithm. Like, like for instance, I follow Coco on Facebook, Ice-T's wife, Coco. And there was a man that had commented on a picture that Coco had posted. And he was like, I am so sick of seeing Coco on my timeline, dressed like this. And I literally responded to him and I'm like, bruh, the algorithm is feeding you what you like. The algorithm is feeding you what you freaking like. The algorithm will typically not feed you anything unless give you anything unless you're feeding it what content it is that you like. So I agree with Ace. This is 100% a reflection of what type of content Tony is taking in, because why do you only see things talking about casual schmecks and situationships and yada, yada, yada on your timeline? I don't even see that stuff on my timeline, especially not from Ace Metaphor. Everything that I see posted from Ace Metaphor is calling men out. That's all that I see. So I feel like Ace, he clocked it. He clocked it. Your algorithm says a lot more about you, and you saying what's coming up on your feed is doing nothing but telling everyone what you're into and what you like.
You're not on my algorithm. I'm just correcting you. Not on my algorithm.
Let me finish. I'll let you finish your monologue.
No, I just want you to put out false things because we do.
Like you are.
I'm just letting you know that it's not from my algorithm.
Right. So if you haven't, so what I'm saying is, if you haven't properly, this is my thing, and I respect your work, and I would love to have you on the panel. I think even coming to a show, you would see how different of an experience than what you think it actually is, how it would be. But what I would say is this: whether it's your algorithm or not, whether it's people sending it to you or not, yes, we post we host and field a whole bunch of different questions from people from different walks of life and experiences. And so, yes, one question may be quote unquote sensationalized, but that was a real question from an audience member. This question may be like, man, how do I find my confidence again after postpartum depression? And that's a clip that got just as many viral views. This question might be about somebody having casual sex and being flown out. But this question was about a woman saying, you know what, I feel like a single mother, even though I'm married. What do I do? And that clip got 10, 15 million views too. I can't speak to just a few clips that you've seen. And so when you're using that to frame, when you're using that to frame and say,
hey, calm down, bro, because you're getting a little too much bass in your voice. So,
Mr. Gaskins, Mr. Gaskins, when you first of all, here's the thing. Anybody has watched my videos know I talk that way. Brother, when you say some stuff like that,
that man did not add any bass to his voice. That man did not add any bass to his voice. This is what men do when they're losing the argument. This is what men do when you better lose that attitude. You better remember who you're talking to. As soon as they start losing the argument, they start losing the debate. This is exactly what they do. You better watch who you're talking to. You better lower that voice down. You better lose that attitude. Man, oh my God.
What you saying, dog? What I'm saying is you got on the platform and you're spreading misinformation. You're spreading misinformation. You say don't spread misinformation about an algorithm, but you got on this platform and you've already admitted that you.
Sorry, I'm pausing it. Someone asked me, you thought Tony was losing the argument? I know Tony is losing the argument. He hasn't been able to answer one question. He hasn't been able to answer one question directly, and he doesn't have anything backing up what it is that he is saying. He pretty much is just saying, because you aren't married, you don't have enough validity to be talking about what you're talking about. Tony is 100% losing the debate. 100% losing the debate.
You ain't really deep dived in our content, and you speaking as if you know what we are doing. And so you want to take a bait.
Listen, I got a question.
That's what he's doing.
One second.
Hey, so let me ask this question because we got the super chats coming in, and I think this is a question that the chat really wants to know. And shout out to Beautified by Lorraine. She says, if the goal is marriage, how can someone give relationship advice that leads to a successful marriage if they are not married?
So the answer to the question is, if that person's individual goal is marriage. I want to first say that if that person's individual goal is marriage, that's one thing. And for that being said, there are people, to Tony's point, that have navigated that course and can give better insight if the goal is to be married. And you can look at their track history. This is why we have married people on our panel.
I'll even answer the question better than that. The best way in order for someone to know the path that it takes in order to be married, even if you're getting the advice from someone is not married, it's very simple. You only need to know two things. You need to know human nature, and you need to know what you are willing and not willing to accept when it comes to human nature. That's it. That's all. That's it. That's all. You don't need to talk to a married person for marriage advice. All you need to know is know and accept human nature, and then check off your list what you are willing and what you are not willing to accept. Lisa Ray literally did an interview and said that She does not really care about infidelity because she was the original Shira 7. Okay. Lisa Ray made it very clear. I've always wanted to deal with men that had money, and that's why her ex-husband is the prime minister of, crap, I forgot what Caribbean island it is. But there are a lot of women out here who they took vows. The vow, you know what I mean? The vows are saying everything that it is saying, but it's a lot of women that get married for richer or for poorer. No, it's for richer only. And if you cheat, I don't care about that. Yeah, Turks and Caicos. I was going to say Trinidad and Tobago, and I'm like, I know that. I was like, I know that ain't it. I knew it was something that started with a T. But Lisa made it very, very clear. I don't care about that man cheating. It's just he took it too far with the cheating and was cheating with people that I was friends with, and then trying to get people hush money in order to get closer to my connections. That way he could have a presence in the United States and get buddy with the people that I was, friends with in Hollywood and XYZ. So at the end of the day, that's all you need to know. Human nature and what you are and are not willing to accept. That's all you need to know. That's all the advice that you need. There ain't no person that's married that's going to know more than a person who has had a relationship, because guess what? The only difference is that they signed some papers. That's the only difference. They just signed some papers.
Okay.
But not everybody's goal in dating is marriage. Brothers, for every one person that's dating to try to find marriage, there's 3 or 4 people dating just to find themselves. There's 4 or 5 people dating in an experimental way. There's 6 or 7 people dating just to distract themselves from a heartbreak. So not everybody that's out here dating is dating to be married. And some people are dating just for fun. They're dating from a recreational sense. We can up here on this podcast say, oh, in a perfect world, everybody would be dating for marriage. But this world ain't perfect. Most of your listeners have been led on or misled or time has been wasted on somebody they thought was intentionally dating, but that person was just recreational or experimental dating. So my point is, yes, if the goal is marriage and 2 people link and both of their goals are united as marriage, yes, a spiritual path for that and spiritual advice is a good place to start. Somebody like Tony will be a great place to start. But getting to a person and finding a person and avoiding people that are not there to get you there is also a path too. And there are people that have been in this dating situation so long that they know how to recognize red flags a little bit better than people that haven't. And so those people have a voice too. And those people reach people too. So for us to act like we live in this idealistic world where everything is how it should be, and we're not dealing with a whole bunch of BS in this dating situation, I just think is out of touch.
Yes, 100%. Because guess what? How many people do you know that are married or they were married and they were like, oh my God, I can't believe that I never thought that he would cheat. I never thought that he would abandon our children. I never thought XYZ would happen. People aren't black and white. People aren't black and white. Okay, so let me respond to this one question. So JD said, wow, that's so crazy. Ace exploits people's pain for money. That's all they advertise on social media for tonight's conversation. And that's what Tony was trying to tell him. At the end of the day, anything that is going to draw an emotional response out of people is always going to get a lot of views. It's going to be sensationalized and it's going to be a big deal on social media. At the end of the day, the content is created off of, like he said, off of what people are asking. And he's giving multiple clips and multiple questions in multiple perspectives. The people are choosing to watch that content. Because guess what? No one's content is 100% perfect. Are you kidding me? There's probably people that are subscribed to me or that watch my videos and they're like, ew, she was a stripper. Ew, she's giving advice on how to manipulate men. Ew, she's giving advice on da-da-da. Ain't nobody going to give you, ain't no creator that you're ever going to find is going to be 100% across the board, giving you every single thing that you want, every piece of content that it is that you want. That's why I'm only talking about it in this setting with this debate. Anything outside of this is off limits. The debate, Tony is losing. Point blank, period. I don't care what you got to say. Tony is losing the debate.
For real.
Now, let me say this because it's some people in the chat now that's a little worried. The thing is, both of y'all are leaders in the space, regardless of who likes what. Both of y'all got millions of money.
And that man told me to take some bass out of my voice, and that crossed the line to me.
Listen, Ace,
that was crossing the line.
Crossing the line when you got the bass in your voice, bro.
Bro, I always got bass in my voice.
Listen, I really don't want to have to end this conversation.
Keep the love.
I do got just one more question. But like I was saying,
I felt like that was unprofessional. It really was.
Hey, stop with the gaslighting. It was unprofessional with you yelling. So we having a conversation.
Fellas.
What you got to realize is what I'm telling you is,
Yo, have you seen any of my videos, bro?
Yes, I've seen your videos.
How do I do my videos?
What did I say?
Wait, fellas, I don't want to get too caught up in the conversation about this because
Right. That's what I try to tell y'all though. That's what I try to tell y'all. Y'all want to bring Ace on here? Let Ace come on here and talk. If you bring me on here, let me talk. Because I don't, where God bring clarity, the devil bring confusion. All this is
you go again, bro.
More people. And so I stand on what I stand on, bro. I draw a line in the sand. You trying to placate to everybody and their mama. I don't care about what this lifestyle, that lifestyle. I'm focused on what's better for the people. And one thing that I see is that a 2-parent household with healthy love is always going to be a child's choice if they have a choice. If they forced to be with one parent, then they will accept that. But if they get to choose, they're going to say, I want two parents in the home, exemplifying love, supporting me. I could talk to this parent about this. I could talk to that parent about this. Life is not about doing what makes us feel good and what we want. Life is about purpose, and it's about doing what hurts sometimes. Life is about doing what we have to do, not what we want to do. Do you think as a man that I just want? It's not that I just want to be with one woman. I have to die out to myself. I have to crucify my flesh for the good of my family, for the good of society, for the betterment of the world. So,
okay, so he literally just said himself, do you think that I want to do this? Do you think that I want to sit here and only sleep with the same woman for the rest of my life because I married her? And we already said what he said at the beginning of this video when the girls were in the chat, he was saying that he has slept with 100 women. Listen, there are men out here who understand that they don't want to have D-discipline. Okay, they accept themselves and they understand that I don't want to have D-discipline. I don't want to sleep with the same person. I don't want to sleep with one person over and over again. So guess what? I'm not going to get married because I understand that if it comes for me to get married, I would have to practice that. So there's no point in me taking vows if I know that I am not going to uphold what that requires. So at the end of the day, people are allowed to make choices, because guess what? If someone were to be like, oh, well, I know I don't have D-discipline, but maybe if I get married, because a lot of men do this. A lot of men think like this. And this is the lie that a lot of women get sold. And this is why women are so thirsty for validation from men. There's always this thing, oh, yeah, because of you, I left the game. Because of you, I'm hanging up my jersey. Because of you, I don't want to deal with no other woman. Now, do y'all really believe that? Do you believe that? He just said it himself. As a married man, he just said it himself. Do you feel like I am fighting my flesh and I want to do this? Because they don't want to do it. They don't want to do it. And we can already know that they want to do it, because how many married men are approaching y'all as single women? How many married men are sliding into y'all DMs as married and they're married? How many men are on dating sites and they're married? It's because the lie that men keep selling y'all, thinking that they could just turn their nature on and off. No, the fuck they can't. They can't, and they don't want to. They don't want to. Majority of the consumers on OnlyFans are majority married men. Quit thinking that once this man says this vows, he is going to wake up and have enlightenment and be like, nope, I only want one vagina and one woman for the whole rest of my life. And it's going to be so easy for me to not ever want to get rid of my urges.
So yes, somebody may want to just hook up. Somebody may be dating to heal. But when they want to do that, we need to be there to say, hey, you should not be dating to heal. You need to heal before you deal. You should not be dating to just hook up, because you are having sexually transmitted diseases, and you can catch a physically transmitted disease that alters your life. So it's not about just giving a platform. Not everybody want to live life legally, but we don't need to give a platform to people.
Now, because someone else mentioned the STD thing as well. No matter what, whether you are married, whether you are single, okay, trust also doesn't prevent STDs. And there are a lot of people out here who are married and their marriage is based off of trust, and when trust is not upheld, they still get an STD. So just because you're out here, you're married and you're only sleeping with one other person, you might be sleeping with that one person. But if that one person that you're sleeping with is sleeping with other people, marriage ain't a condom. Point blank period. Marriage ain't a condom. So the trust and the loyalty that you have, that's still not going to protect you from STDs, because only you can look out for you in the bedroom. And there's a lot of couples out here that are married. They've been in a relationship. They're not over here always using condoms. The number one source of women to get HIV, the number one demographic of women that end up getting HIV is in a married demographic, because lots of these women that are married to men, actually the men that they're married to are bisexual. I literally just had something recommended to me on YouTube, a crime story where there was a black couple, black woman, black man. She found out that he was having an affair with another man. I didn't even watch it, but I don't know who was unalived in the process, but she found out that her husband was having an affair on her with another man. So although I do agree, okay, yes, you sleeping just with any old person and things like that, of course that's going to increase your exposure, but let's not just throw it up under the rug and just not acknowledge the fact that if your partner is not faithful and if your partner is cheating on you and they're not using protection, they are making you vulnerable to STDs as well. So if you're going to call out the casual people, you need to call out the people who are married and still doing casual stuff.
People who want to live illegally. Not everybody want to do half of the things right, but we don't need to give them a platform for the sake of let's let everybody speak when they speaking from their mess, when they speaking from their brokenness, when they speaking from their pain. So it's a time and a place for everything, and you give a space to people who are doing what is good for society as a whole. It's not just about making money. It's not just about touring and being famous. And the thing about it is if you're having these conversations every night on tonight's conversation, and the conversation is productive, then you should be able to see one of the multiple millions of women who are qualified to be your wife. So if your own conversations can't help you find your wife and settle down and be married and have a family with your wife, then what is the point of these conversations if the creator can't even benefit from it? So
brother,
that's my point.
Hey,
Brother, hold on. Let me respond to them. See, hold on. No, let me respond to my man.
No, I got you. I want you to give a closing statement here because we're gonna wrap this one up. And Ace, if you really want to have another conversation continue, we're gonna talk outside of this, but please go ahead and give your closing statement here so we can continue the show.
Okay, so I'm cutting it off at there because I'm sick of hearing them talk. Point blank period should be on your merch. Y'all are funny. Okay, so hold on. There were a couple of things that I wanted to add to that really quick. What was it? Oh, there's this clip that's also from the podcast that they were on, and Tony Gaskins once again told on himself. Okay, he once again told on himself. Always remember that people can change. And when people take in certain content, when people take in certain opinions, men have their subconscious trained when they're very, very young. And most men are trained to have toxic masculinity. Most men are trained to not like women because everything that a man is taught is anti-woman. Don't cry. Only girls cry. Men don't cry. Be tough. Take it like a man. Act like a man. All the teachings toward men is just how to not be a woman. So they're already taught to dislike your innate nature. And Tony said something very, very interesting that I want to show you all.
So it becomes this thing to where it affects all of us. It affected me in my marriage. It's by me hearing Kevin Samuels talk, even for 2 minutes. I've never watched one of his full episodes. Just hearing him 2 or 3 minutes, it made me look at my wife with a side eye. It made me shift my position from Ephesians 5, love your wife as Christ loved the church, to looking at her like, what are you doing? What are you doing for me?
Did y'all hear that? He said 2 or 3 minutes. He said 2 or 3 minutes of watching Kevin Samuels made him side-eye his wife. And he's been married for 20 years. And you want to know why it only took 2 to 3 minutes for him to side-eye his wife after watching Kevin Samuels? Because it already was in his subconscious. It already was in his subconscious. He already think that way about his wife. He already think that way about his wife. He resents his wife. And we're going to watch something else too. We're going to watch something else too. Let me stop the screen. So this is what I'm about to show y'all is even more interesting. Even more interesting. When I was scrolling through the comments on one of the videos of Tony Gaskins, and someone in the comments had wrote, Tony Gaskins also supports for women to not buy a house. I said, I said, no way. I said, no way. I said, I said, let me look this up. He does indeed. He has indeed made videos promoting women to, he urges women to not buy a house. He urges women to not buy a house. So let's, instead of me telling you, I'll have you guys watch it.
Hey, Tony Guys here. Now, I've seen this. What was it? A study. Well, I don't know if you'll call it a study, but it was a report. And what they were saying is that right now, more single women own homes than single men. I think it was like, of the homes owned by singles, it was like 58% is owned by women and 42% owned by men, or something like that. And that it used to be like 40 something percent to 36%. And it was talking about how more single women are buying homes, and the comments was negative. That was sad to see. You know, it was a lot of comments, and the comments was like, oh, you know, guys were saying, yeah, they got homes because we gave it to them. It's our home. Other people talking about, oh, it's their home because of divorce. And I have a lot of single clients who have homes, who have bought their home. And I get it for, you know, my clients who are single in their 50s. It's like, you know, you've been working, you put in the work, you're in your 50s, you might as well own a home. Like you would expect, if you meet a man and he's 45 plus, he's going to own a home too, maybe. But for single men and women who are in your 20s and possibly even in your 30s, now after you cross 35, that's a little different. But single men and women under 35, you should think twice before you buy a home. And I'm going to tell you why. The first thing is, if you plan to get married, a home is much more permanent and it's a much greater deterrent to a potential spouse. And the reason why I say that is because in one part of my business where I'm coaching, I've coached men and women who get upset that the person that they've met and that they're trying to build with has their house already and it's set in stone. Like a woman got mad. A woman could get mad because the man already has a house and she wanted to have a say-so in picking the house. And yes, it's very easy to say, well, you could just sell the house. But that's not always the case because the market changes all the time. So you could get stuck on a house. You know, I have clients who are trying to sell their house and their house is not selling. It's not moving. Like they're getting little, you know, feedback, little offers, but it's really a lot of times just realtors playing tricks, trying to see if they'll let them, you know, list the house or take it over and sell it in their network so they can make, you know, the commission or whatever, but it doesn't move the house. So you can meet somebody and then it's easy to say, well, you can rent it out. And that's not always the case either because rent typically is double what the mortgage costs. So if the mortgage is $2,000, rent $4,000, it's not a lot of people that can afford $4,000 rent for a basic house.
My thing is this. If you don't get a house and then you meet someone and then you guys get a house together and then let's just say that y'all end up having to move, wouldn't y'all still have to sell the house? And wouldn't y'all still have to, if you guys had the option, maybe if you guys weren't moving that far, wouldn't you still have the option to rent that house out? I travel for work. Okay, I travel for work. There are plenty of married couples that I know who they live under their roof together and have multiple houses and they just rent them out. So what would be unique? What would be unique to a woman owning a house as if she alone wouldn't face the same hurdles that a couple would not face if they got a house together and they decided to move? This sounds more to me like, you know what? I don't want her to be able to have her own stable environment because number one, I want to be able to have it where she can build. Okay, she can build and go 50-50 on a mortgage, you know, use her good credit, use her high credit in order to have a man be able to leech off of her. Because the thing about it was that he made another video about this. And the comments are turned off. So that's how I know the women, the ladies were not feeling what it was that he was talking about because he made I think this was the shorter video, but he has a longer video where he's going in depth about his disdain and his disapproval regarding women buying their own homes. I'll put my Cash App in the like chat thing in a second. But my thing is this. It sounds to me like you don't want a woman who would be stable. Women like stability. Okay? Women like stability. You want to know why women like stability? Listen, women that are still having cycles, a lot of the time you don't even know what day your cycle is going to start. Okay, women who have had children postpartum, women don't know if they're going to wake up depressed. Women don't know if they're going to wake up anxious. Women don't know if we don't know if we're going to be emotional. We don't know if we're going to be sad. So everything spiritually, everything within us as women is not stable. Mother Earth is not stable. That's why there's 4 seasons. That's why Florida is getting snow. That's why Texas is getting snow. Mother Nature is not stable. So in the physical world, we want to have stability. We want to have stability. So you all you're doing is just pretty much saying that you want a woman to rely on a man for stability. And relying on a man for stability is one of the most unstable things that you could ever do in your life. Tony foul for this. Tell these men to quit bumming and secure their own shelter. You don't tell women to shrink. Tell men to grow. Exactly. As a mom with a 26-year-old son and 19-year-old daughter, and as someone who purchased my first home at 19, I agree with Tony. I understand the logic first. I understand the logic firsthand. And that stinks because you also have children as well. You do. You also have children as well. So I feel like this. If I'm single and I'm a homeowner and I happen to find someone and he wants me to sell my house so that we could have our own house, I'm not doing that. I'm going to rent out my home because I want to be able to have passive income. And I also want to be able to have a place to go to just in case we get a divorce. Like, to me, that's just not logical. To me, that's just not logical. Why would you want to get rid of your form of stability? Why would you want to get rid of your form of stability? And we can even look at the comments. Like, let's look at the comments. I purchased a home when I was 26. I'm now 43. Men have come and gone, but this house is mine and almost paid off. Best decision ever. Honestly, no man is worth it for a woman to put her life on hold. Because my thing is this. What if you don't find someone? What if you don't find someone? And y'all see how high these mortgages are? Y'all see how high this shit is? Imagine it's 2020. Imagine it's 2020, the Panini era. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The Panini era, when they had the houses that were super, super cheap. Imagine you having the opportunity in 2020 to buy a home, and you're able to buy the home at a very, very, the interest rate is low. You ain't going to have no crazy mortgage. Everything is good. And then imagine you holding out 5 years later for a man and you still don't have a freaking man, and you done passed out of a house in hopes that you get married and that you are with someone. That is crazy. That's crazy. You would be willing to choose a man over shelter is pretty much what that means. That's pretty much what he is telling. He is saying you should choose a man over shelter. Nah, buy a home or condo in a safe neighborhood, ladies. Get married, rent it out, and use the escrow to live on retirement. Exactly. Like these men can't marry you and then kick you out and then divorce you and then kick you out and then you ain't got no place to go. They're giving us the most irresponsible financial advice, and I believe it's deliberate. His wife needs to wake up and see him for what he is. So women should be illogical, ridiculous. Yeah, I'm sorry. This rhetoric just doesn't make sense to me at all. And I don't really see how this advice is helpful to women. But you know what? Let's just finish what it is that let's just go on ahead and not finish, but let's see if he has anything else that might sound better than what he's saying.
And then you can mark it up a little bit, from 2,000, 2,500 or 3,000, but now you increasing your risk if they tear it up, they do something. And then when you get renters, you can end up losing a lot of money because they can destroy the house.
If I am married and I am with a husband who would not even help me to prevent that from happening, I wouldn't even want to live under the same fucking roof as him. Like, what would be your purpose? What would be your purpose if I had a place to rent out and we're together and we have our own house and I'm renting out my place and I wouldn't even be able to use you? I wouldn't even be able to have your presence around to make sure that shit like that doesn't happen. Or we can at least fix it if it does happen.
they ruin the carpet. Yeah, you got a security deposit, but that ain't gonna cover nothing because the security deposit is typically 1 month's rent. So if they ruin the carpet, if they ruin your 3, 4, 5 walls, if they, messing up the heater, messing up this or that, got the AC too low all the time, AC freeze out, like you have to, as the owner, you got to come drop $7,500 for a new AC. If something go wrong with your roof, you got to drop that $12K or $40K.
Don't you have to do the same thing if you live with another man? If you live with a man, don't you have to do the same thing? Oh, so all of a sudden the AC gonna work 100% of the time, the refrigerator gonna work 100% of the time, everything gonna be perfect in the house automatically if you get married and you live under the roof with a man? Makes no sense. Makes no sense. Yes, Davina, this is nothing but fear mongering. All he's doing is listing everything that could potentially go wrong, all because you bought a home, as if the same things cannot happen if you buy a home with a man. Who's to say that the husband isn't the one over here fucking up carpet? Who's to say the husband isn't the one punching walls? Who's to say that the man that you're living under the roof under is making sure that the place stays clean? Who's to say that?
For a new roof, or even just fixing the leak, the leak, they're gonna hit you for $4,000, $8,000. And I own a home, so I know all these expenses. And then don't let the home have a pool, because that's always going wrong with the pool. And so you really should think about this, because, and you got to get to the root of it. A lot of times the reason why you want the home is to feel accomplished. You want to feel like you have a piece of the American pie, that you are living the American dream. But the thing about the American dream is it wasn't created to be your dream. The American dream is the dream of America, but the American dream is oftentimes your nightmare. And so
I'm sorry. Wasn't this the same man that said on the podcast that getting married is the best thing that you could do for society? Is getting married not a part of the American dream? Is getting married not a part of the American dream? So the American dream with you getting married, that's the American dream. And he's okay with that. 100% on par with you getting married and having a family. That is a part of the American dream. But you buying a house, oh no, that's where he draws the line. That's where he draws the line. You get in a house, Oh my God, this is funny. This is funny.
Every time I'm with a client and they are under 35 and they bought a house, a lot of the main thing that I hear all the time is I didn't want to keep paying rent. But if you're planning to be married within 3 years, 5 years, then you have to do that math. And the way you do that math is you look at what's the cost of your rent and you multiply it by 12. Then if you know for sure, you don't know for sure, but you have all the faith in the world, you're going to meet your spouse and you're going to get married within 3 years. Now it's multiply by 12 and then multiply that number by 3. Sit with that number. See how you feel about that number. But then also think you have some benefits with that. That's offsetting that cost. So yes, you're maybe, let's say you're paying $2K a month. That's 24,000 times 3 years. You got 60,000 plus 12. You got 72,000. But guess what? You don't have to fix the roof. You don't have to fix the AC. You don't have to remodel anything. You renting. Another cost that you have that you're saving is when the lease is up every year, you can move. You can move to a new part of town. You're paying $400 for movers to load your stuff up and take it to a new place. You can move to a new part of town and experience a new place. You can move to a new city. You get that option every year. So if you want to stay where you at, is dead, you ain't meeting nobody, it's a real slow area, boom, move to a little more of a popular area. So you got to take that in consideration. Also, you have to look at, when you buy a house, you got to look at the mortgage. So I was talking to a client last night. She watched a lot of videos, so she probably won't see this. And we did this exercise to where look at the mortgage cost, multiply it by 12, and then how many years is the mortgage? It's a 30-year mortgage. Now multiply it by 30 years. So what she paid for the house, by the time she's done paying the 30-year mortgage, she will have paid 3 times that cost. So essentially, think about if you bought your house for $300,000, but based on your mortgage payment times 30 years, you're gonna pay $900,000. If you own a home right now, do the math on it. Now, if you got your home a long time ago, your number is gonna be a lot better because the interest rates were.
Oh my God, I'm scrubbing this. I'm really trying to like hold out hope to see if he's going to say anything else aside from this math gibberish. Like Tony, are you a dating coach or are you Albert Einstein? Like, are you a mathematician?
If you immediately need to break a lease, boom, 2 months rent. If you manage your money, you got savings, you out of there.
Like, let's say something happened to your parent gets sick now, and you got to move back home. Your parent live in another state, and you got to move there and take care of your parent because they too elderly to move to you. So now, if you rent a house, you leaving your house to get cobwebs. You leaving your house unattended. Your neighbors know you gone. It might not. Your neighbor's not gonna rob you, but your neighbor boyfriend, your neighbor cousin, your neighbor whoever, they come over for the cookout. Yeah, my neighbor over there, she got this house, and now she got this house in Georgia. We here in Georgia, and her mom living in Illinois or Massachusetts or Texas, so she back there. Buying a home, you have to think about. It's not as easy as just saying I rent this out, because that might become your worst nightmare. It's not as easy as saying when I'm ready to sell, I'll sell. It's not that easy because it's a lot of property for sale. Why you think Zillow is in business? Zillow in business because it's millions and millions and millions of houses for sale that can.
I can't believe that this video is $34 or 34 minutes. I mean, I can't believe that this video is 34 minutes. Like, what else could he possibly be saying? What else could he possibly be saying? Any and everything has these men shook. Women having access to shelter and education makes them feel small and insecure. And it's the property tax that is crucial, especially in the States. They'll take your home if those taxes, theft aren't paid. Exactly. Is he using the math on himself? Here's the thing. I'm not saying that he doesn't have any valid points, because my thing is this. Of course, if you own a home, you are going to have to assume more responsibility, because anything that breaks down in the home, you are responsible for. Does he think that women are so dumb that women make this decision and don't know that already? Like, women, like the home owning process is not an easy process. Viewing the homes, the closing costs, all of that stuff, that is a very long process. So him giving up all these fear-mongering talks, saying about what could happen, what might happen, shoulda, coulda, woulda, all the fear-mongering, does he not think that women don't take this into consideration when they are deciding to buy a home? He just thinks that women are out buying homes just willy-nilly and just not thinking about any of this stuff. Of course, if a woman has purchased a home, she understands this already. That's why there's insurance. Okay. That's why there's websites for you to list your home. That's why there's websites for you to rent out your place. It's like we are going back to the 19th century with this renting crap. I agree. Okay. My thing is this, no, women aren't stupid. women really aren't that stupid. And at the end of the day, the rent has gotten so high too that at this point, your rent and your mortgage is damn near neck and neck, depending on where you are living. But my thing is that why would you be so against women owning a home? Like, why would you be so against a woman owning a home? Like, that's weird. Women couldn't even own a home without the signature of a man until the 70s. Like, that's weird. That's weird energy. Legal theft for sure. It makes no sense. Is he using the math on himself? Chat, I don't know. No, I don't have a public Facebook, not like for like this platform or anything. Why aren't men doing the same? Okay, so I don't know where it is, but I remember when they had like the statistic up of women owning more homes than men. And a lot of men in the comments were like, well, why would I get a home if it's just going to be me? It's just going to be me in the home. Because men don't want to spend time alone with themselves. So if it gets them scared, the idea to even get a home on their own, because they would be in this big old house alone with no one to share it with. For women, having your own home, it's nice. It's nice. Ain't no poor woman getting a home. And are you kidding me? The poor women, they can get houses for House of Habitat. I know women that they got their house for $70,000. They just had their house. They had their house built by Homes for Habitat. House is $70,000. Divorced men are paying rent and also paying for his children. They are an absolute liability. Exactly. Okay, so there's one more thing. There is one more thing that I want to have Tony Gaskins tell you all, and what he thinks. Okay.
Put you That's why I'm in the relationship space. Because for me personally, I don't respect a man until he's married. Like a man does not earn my respect until he's married and faithful.
Damn.
Like he could bench press 500. He can make $1 million a week. He can have a jet. He can have houses around the world. A man does not have my respect. He will have my kindness. He will have, my love as a brother, as a man, but he won't have my respect and admiration until he can be married and faithful.
Now, he's making very good points here. Very good points here. He's saying, I don't care about you lifting heavy. I don't care about your wealth. I don't care about any of those things. I will only respect you if you are married and faithful. The reason why I'm showing this clip is because I want women to understand that when it comes to men getting married, he is further pushing the proof that we have statistically that is shown that men, they benefit greatly from getting married because they earn more money. They can get promotions. They're happier. They're healthier. They live longer. And so he already said, I don't respect men that aren't married. You want to know how many men work for you want to know how many men have bosses that have this same ideology? There are men out there that have bosses. They have this same ideology. And men will literally get married just because they want the respect of their peer. They want the respect of their boss. They want the respect of other men, and they don't want to uphold anything that comes along with the marriage. And so this is the reason why a lot of women end up getting super confused when they're like, well, I never thought that he was going to be cheating on me. I never thought that any of this stuff would happen. I never thought that he was going to abandon the family, because a lot of these men are just making decisions to get married all because they want to do it for respect purposes, and they really don't want to do it for any other reason outside of that. The faithful part is rare. And the only way that you're going to know if someone is faithful is if they tell you that they're faithful. Like, that's the only way. And that's if you believe them. That's if you believe them. You don't have you're not going to be able to be a tracking device to another person to know if they are faithful or not. You're just only able to go based off of the strength of what that person is telling you. But I'm showing this clip because I'm happy that another man is straight up saying that his respect for other men coming from if they're married or not. Because I also want to explain that men do get married for that reason. Men get married for that reason, just to have respect from another man. They're not doing it out of love. They're not doing it out of actually wanting to have a family and raise a family and be there for you and love you. And I'm not saying all the men, but I am saying that there are a lot of men with this ideology, and they go on ahead and run with it and be like, oh, well, in order for me to gain respect from another man, I need to go on ahead and get married. Ladies, buy a home as soon as you can. You can always rent the house out. Don't listen to him. Yeah, you can always rent the house out. Always rent the house out. I know a woman who, she has a place that she gets rented out in the East Coast, and she's in fucking school to become a dentist in a different country. Her place is always booked and busy. Always booked and busy in the States. And she is out of the country for school, and her place is constantly getting rented out. If you know what the market wants, and the thing about it is that you're a woman. You're a woman. Don't nobody want a house that a man decorated it. It ain't gonna be no decorations. Don't nobody want to buy from something that a home that a man has, unless he has enough interior designer skills. He has the creativity that a woman has. Okay, unless he has that ability. But come on. In most cases, a woman is going to be a much better saleswoman for her own home as opposed to a man, if a man had the ability. Women know how to decorate. Women know how to buy the right furnishings. And the thing about it is this. Women that are tenants fare out way better as male tenants. Way, way, way better. This is why they do this is why you do background checks. You ain't finna just let someone come into your home and rent out your home and you didn't run a background check on them. You ain't about to have them come in your home and not sign off documents stating what they owe, what will happen if they owe, et cetera, the state laws, the renters laws. Like, come on, you're going to talk about everything that could go wrong, but you're not telling the things, the actual process in order for a person to protect themselves when they're a homeowner. So that's how I already know. It's like, no, a lot of this is fear mongering in order to be able to give average men access to women. And a lot of men also have this irrational fear. Well, if she has a house and I move into her house, then she is going to she'll kick me out. If I move in with her, she'll kick me out. They're saying that because that's what they would do. They're saying that because that's what they would do. They much rather have you move in with them. That way they have the power and they can hang it over your head. Well, you're in my house, remember? Remember whose house you're in. You're in my house, remember? Anytime there's going to be an argument, you're not going to hear the end of fucking day about how he's paying the bills, how he got the house, how the house is his. You need to respect my home. You're not going to hear the end of it. You're not going to hear the end of it. And guess what? If you don't have anything that's stable on your own, you don't have a place of your own to go back to, then what are you going to do? You're going to be stuck there. You're going to be stuck there. Men are not telling you to do this because they actually want to give you a home. It ain't like the man is the one. He ain't buying the home for you. With that rhetoric, they're wanting you to go 50-50. They're wanting you to go 50-50. Get the house together. Get the house together. And then we'll go 50-50. And then we'll be married, and then our debt will occur together. All of our financial obligations, all of our financial pitfalls will then at that point be together. No. You want to know how many men took over the home and took over the finances, and then they can't end up moving because the man ain't pay the taxes in umpteen years on the house. Then the house is up for auction, and then now they're all scrambling and figuring out what the hell to do because she left her place and they both got a house together, and he not even taking care of the damn house and doing what he needs to do. It's a mayor that doesn't even pay rent. That doesn't even pay her rent, and she's a mayor. Duh. Don't you know people that work in the government don't pay rent typically? She don't got to pay rent because the people that live in the damn state are paying her rent for her. Duh. Government officials, we the people are paying for government officials' rent. I'm just going through the chat. Give me 2 seconds, really, really quick. I got to grab my phone so I can add my Cash App on here. Okay. I don't know if what's the guy stayed on here, but I don't even use it for real on here, but I'll add it. So yeah, I pretty much showed you guys all of this because I have a hard time. I have a very, very hard time when I'm watching this content from a lot of these male content creators when they're using them being married as leverage in order to try to pander to women. And they're not even really living the same type of life that they're telling you that they're living. And I just have an issue with that. Whoops. I just kind of have an issue with that. I feel like I kind of feel as though it's just kind of like, well, you should have some authenticity. That way you're not misleading women. No, the mayor is getting evicted. She rented a home and stopped paying. Oh, you must be talking about Lori Lightfoot. But it goes back to what I said. She's no longer the mayor. So the reason why she most likely is getting evicted is because she's no longer the mayor, and therefore she doesn't have the power in order for her to be funneling money through, taking money from the people in order to have them be paid, because that's what a lot of politicians do. Politicians take taxpayer money and then use that for all their personal interests. Whenever you look up politicians and government officials having some type of legality, that's usually what the legality is, taking taxpayer dollars. I'm not going to argue with you. Not arguing with you guys in the comments. And I don't know why you're always arguing in the first place in the comments with me. But that's usually what happens. Usually they're taking taxpayer dollars in order to pay that stuff. Usually. I'm trying to figure out how I can add this banner in order for me to put my Cash App in here, just in case. Does anyone have like any questions or anything like this? It seems like you guys really are enjoying this content where I'm breaking this stuff down. Don't pay attention to the trolls. They are obsessed with Lightfoot. We can type it in the chat in the meantime. Yeah, I'll just do that. I will just do that. The name on there is Ghetto because it's not my actual like separate Cash App, but it's Lemon Sour 5 because I love lemon sours. Wasn't that crazy seeing those two grown men bicker back and forth like that? That was pretty funny. Like, I don't know what it was, but that was funny seeing them bicker back and forth. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, because I was watching it earlier when I was getting ready because I had to run a couple errands. And when I had seen that, I was just like, what the? Oh my God, they're letting me do everything except for change what it is that I have written. So it must be something that I have to do like outside of here. But it's no big deal. Moving forward, I'll have my Cash App in there. Poke the bear more often. Tony was so upset and really be in their feelings. Yes, but Tony Gaskins is embarrassing. It was just hilarious seeing them go back and forth like that because damn, like, oh my God, you better get that bass out of your voice. Like, oh my God, like why? Like why? Why the constant? Okay, it says show display names. Now let me change it. This is going to bother me. I'm not going to stop until I can freaking do it. I'm not going to stop until I can do it because this is frustrating me. But my Cash App is Lemon Sour 5 if anyone wants to send anything. But go after dating coaches. Yeah, that's what I'm going to start doing. I want to find some content on that one man, that guy, that white man that has those beady blue eyes, that he's like a psychologist or something like that. Hey, Joni. He's like a psychologist or something like that. I think I'm going to do something with his content next. I was just trying to find something worthy, but that guy's a little weird. Hold on, let me find this guy and see if I can find him. But I was looking at his content earlier and I'm like, this guy is interesting. Oh yeah, psych hacks. Oh my gosh, sorry. Hold on. Okay, this guy. Oh, and it's got my ad up. I'm on a different platform. Hold on, I'll show you.
both what they want and what they respond to. To make matters worse, many of these incorrect ideas are widely
This guy. This guy. That's probably, I gotta look up some stuff. I gotta look up some stuff on this guy to see some more of his content. Yeah, that's me. It'll be under the name May. Yeah, it'll be under the name May. That's me. Yeah, this guy's wild, man. This guy's insane. You can even see it in his eyes. Like, you can see it in his eyes. This guy's crazy. This guy is crazy. Many women believe that a man will not respect them or consider them for long-term relationship if she is too easy in the courtship process. This is not true. When it comes to their relationships, men don't want a challenge. This is because when it comes to the average man, his life is hard enough. While men might need a chase, they are not looking for a woman to complicate their lives. See how these men are begging you? Like, this is begging, in my opinion. See how MTR was literally begging women to take a chance on average man? You literally have him saying, he literally has pinned a comment of him pretty much trying to beg women to take a chance on average men and to not have standards because their life is so hard. Their life is so difficult. You need to give them a chance, and you just need to lower your standards. That way you give average men a chance. Psych Hacks, that's his name. Psych Hacks. He is using his platform to hook up. Oh, him. He's pretty awful and very red pill narrative, but he did some interesting double speak on another podcast. I think it was Steven. Can't recall his last name. You guys, if you guys ever find any content that you guys want me to review, please hit me up in my email, okay? Queen Sovereign Being. Like, just stop what you're doing and send me the link on my email, and that way I can showcase it on here and we can talk about it and laugh at it, because these men are just hilarious. Like, these men are hilarious. And the thing that I find so funny is that they never show you any success stories. That's what I find so funny. These dating coaches, they never share any success stories on how these average men are getting the woman that they want using these tactics. Like, oh, you need to ignore her. If you ignore her, it's going to make her want you more. No, the fuck it's not. If you ignore me, I'm never talking to you again. I'm never talking to you again. You want me, like, the thing is, what's so funny is that he literally is telling you to be a S worker if she is too easy in the courtship process. This is not true. So pretty much what he's saying is he wants you to bust it wide open on the first date. He's pretty much saying, don't play hard to get. Bust it wide open on the first date, please. That way I don't have to work hard for you. That way I don't have to invest in you. That way I don't have to prove myself to you. McDuffie, Kevin Samuels. Yeah, this guy's a weirdo. This guy's a freaking weirdo. But I do want to look at these comments. Maybe at 18 years old, when a man is living off his parents' income, maybe, sure, chasing a challenging woman is fun. But when a man gets into the real world and strives for above average income, get his own car, home that he is fully responsible for paying, a challenging woman is just a distraction and inconvenience. All of these men in the comments that are agreeing with him, did you notice that all he did was just list things that humans do? Going to work, paying rent, having a car. And he's saying that that's too difficult. Oh my God, it's so difficult. It's so difficult for me to make more than $65,000. It's so difficult for me to make more than $65,000. So I have to thank you so much. Thank you guys for Cash App. I appreciate you. Appreciate you. Thank you. I got the money, y'all. Y'all are too sweet. The whole dating coach thing is a scam. There's one woman that is on my TikTok. Okay, she's friends with me on TikTok. I have to do more research, but there is a dating coach out here who is literally teaching men how to get nudes out of women. Pretty much trying to teach men how to schmexually exploit women. And so I have to get more on this guy. She sent me things, but I'm probably going to expose this guy too, cuz the guy is sick. He's a dating coach out of like Texas or something like that. Can you speak on your relationship with your father? Okay, so my father, good relationship, but my father's still a man. Okay, my father is still very much a man. So although I'm not going to air out his business like that, my father is still a man. And my father was very, very open and honest with me about him being a man. You know what I mean? I don't need to get deeper into that. But that's also a reason why I know a lot about male nature, because my father does not lie to me about male nature, even still to this day. Yeah. Okay, the tea is being spilled. The tea isn't only being spilled, the tea is being knocked the fuck over, okay, when it comes to the conversations between me and my father. And yeah, my father is he's a harsh judge of character when it comes to the men that I have in my life. But my father is 100% going to be the first one that's telling me what these men are doing, how they're out here behaving. I mean, he spills tea on the married men. I be knowing everything. How is his relationship with your mother? I mean, as good as it could be. He's one of, I can't remember, but the family's blended. It is the family is blended. But I don't think the relationship was like bad or anything like that. But my father's just very honest. So that's a big reason. My mom and my dad are both honest when it comes to male nature. So this is why I know so much. Because I grew up in an environment where no one was gatekeeping from me. No one was like trying to just like spew out bullshit and create this like fantasy. But also, I mean, no one was like discouraging me from dealing with men. No one was discouraging me from like wanting to like get married or have children or anything like that. It was pretty much similar to like what I do on this channel. You know, I expose male nature, but I also tell you like, okay, well, like even on my Patreon, you know, the girls that are on my Patreon, I give the girls the tea on my Patreon, telling them like how to, you know, manipulate, how to be able to, you know, have men give them money and things like that. It's just, you should at least know male nature. That way, once you know male nature, you know what to expect and you know what it is that you're getting into. That way you don't have your hopes so high. You know what I mean? That way you aren't disappointed. If you know, like for instance, if you know that you have to go to a dangerous neighborhood for something, for some reason, maybe it's an errand that you have to run and you have to go to a dangerous part of town, you're not going to wear a ton of jewelry. You know what I mean? You are not about to be flashy and have all of these nice things on you, because that's going to draw attention to you, and that might potentially put you in harm's way where you can get mugged. It's the same thing when it comes to these dating streets and when it comes to your interactions with men. If you know what's out in the field, and if you know how these men are moving, you're going to know how to move. That way you can kind of come out unscathed and still get what you want. You know what I'm saying? Gatekeeping is the worst thing we do to girls. Yes, it's the worst thing that we do to girls. It really, really is. And I really don't understand why women are still doing it. I don't. But a lot of it just comes from the idea that women have their ego attached to male validation. So when women cannot openly positively shine a light on validation that they're like getting like from men, they're just gonna lie and make it seem as if everything is just hunky-dory and everything is just perfect, because they don't want to sit with the fact that they bought into this dream and things did not work out the way that they wanted them to work out. And the married women that I talk to, the married women that are in my family, they're very transparent with me. They're like, no, I mean, like no one in my, I'm trying to think. Yeah, no one in my family that's been married once. No woman, no woman that in my family that's been married got remarried. Only one did. And I think she's been married 3 times. But all the other women in my family did not get remarried. And the ones that are still married are like, no, don't do it. Don't do it. Queen is very straightforward, tells the truth, not wishy-washy. Aw, thank you. One thing about me, I'm gonna keep it real, okay? I'm not pandering to nobody. The people that like me, you gonna like me. The people that don't like me, bye. I only want the people here that are good with the raw truth, that are good with having nuance to a conversation, that have enough emotional intelligence, and that just like the raw, real truth. Most married women I know are miserable. I've never been jelly. I tried to uplift. Yes. I think they are brainwashed and male identified. So there's actually a statistic. I will have to find it, but there actually is a statistic. This is like just speaking politically. But whenever a man and a woman get married, the woman will naturally shift to the political ideals that her husband has. So that's the thing, like, you know, on our live yesterday when Melissa Ford, I'm turning this around. I'm not trying to make Lululemon no money. What was I going to say? A lot of women end up just shape shifting into their husband is, and their whole identity is tied around to what their husband likes, what their husband believes in, his political ideas, all those things, all his ideas, all of his views. You know what I'm saying? And that can be very, very dangerous. It could be very, very dangerous for women. Yeah, like Tamira Mowry. You can see the completely different shift, but you can see Tamara and Tia are so different. Like they are night and freaking day. Night and freaking day. Tamara definitely identifies more with her white side. She does. She identifies more with her white side, more conservatism, things like that. And Tia identifies more with her black side. She likes black men. She embraces black culture. They are completely different. Completely different. Tia was like, I'm not happy in my marriage, so I'm divorcing. Okay, I'm leaving. I'm leaving. And I forgot the name of that TV show that she was on Netflix. I forgot, but the show was really, really, really good. I really, really enjoyed it. And at the beginning of the show, when the show started, I remember that Tia was big. She had gotten big. I am a firm believer that a woman that is married, her marriage is reflected in how she looks, okay, and how much weight she is carrying. Now, if she had a baby or something, you know, if it's been like a year or two, like postpartum, okay, whatever, I get that. But if it's been like 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and she is super, super severely overweight and she's married, something I get a little curious. And so when she was on that show and I saw that she was big, the first thing I thought, I was like, she must be having marital issues. She must be having marital issues, because when women who are normally like small, fit, they got themselves together, and then all of a sudden I feel like they just blow up out of nowhere while they're married, I feel like they're having marital issues. Holy smokes, I think I had a dream about you. FYI, I think you're amazing and insightful. Thank you. Hopefully it was a good dream. Hopefully I wasn't doing anything crazy. What do you think about Michelle Obama not attending Trump's inauguration with Barack Obama? I mean, I don't really like to get a whole like crazy political, but I mean, I don't think Donald Trump didn't come to Barack's inauguration. So my thing is this. I know me. Let's just say it's my birthday, right? If it's my birthday and I invite people, I only want the people at my birthday that want to be there. I don't want someone to come to a celebration for me and they don't want to be there. Stay home. Stay home. Because she would have went and she would have not liked it. Because guess what? She would have went and she would have had her face all twisted up, and then it would have been making headlines. So it's like, no, why support something that you don't like? I feel like. I hate when people say happy weight. Yes, because it's not happy weight. I'm sorry. It's not freaking happy weight when a woman is gaining weight and she's in a relationship or she's in a marriage. Like, it's not happy weight. That means that something is getting abandoned. That means something somewhere is getting abandoned and or your cortisol is up. Not important. And Michelle is not squeaky clean. Yeah. But yeah, I feel like when I saw Tia and her weight had like fluctuated, I was like, ooh, and she had like the cortisol face too. And women are really, really sensitive to stress, and our cortisol is like very, very easy to spike up. And so I could tell, like, when a woman is going through it, you could tell it's in her body. And that's why men are like, well, how come after the divorce, women like glow up and women are able to look beautiful? And it's like, because she doesn't have all that stress. She doesn't have all of that stress. Women who are not, you can tell a woman that's not under stress. Like Shira 7, that woman ain't stressed. You can tell Shira is not fucking stressed. She ain't fucking stressed at all. And even Shira's videos when she was heavier, I think those videos was when it wasn't too long after she had given birth. And she has 2 girls. So I think that was just baby weight. With Shira, all the women that are happy doing their thing, they look super happy. They look good. They look good. Someone brought up Cheryl Lee Ralph yesterday. How old is Cheryl Lee Ralph? Hold on. I know she up there, but I'm afraid to say her age because the age that I want to say sounds too high. Because I seen a post and I was like, wait a minute, she can't be. She is almost 70 years old. Shirley Ralph is 68 years old, and she is in a together living apart marriage with her husband. Her husband is a senator. They don't live together. Cheryl Lee Ralph looks fucking beautiful, and it's because she ain't got to sleep in the same bed with a man snoring, having to hear his snoring ass. Okay, she ain't got to worry about cooking and cleaning and picking up his dirty drawers and cleaning out his doo-doo drawers. They are living separate. That's why she looks so good at 68 years old. She ain't living up under a roof with a man and he constantly up under her. It's too much stress. It's too much stress. I'm a firm believer. I do not believe that men and women should be living together. I heard that. Elisheva, I'm divorced and never looked better. That's what I'm talking about. The women that I see that are divorced, they look so refreshed. The life has been put back into them. You know, you could tell that they're just super, 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 super happy. Any woman that's out here watching this, that's in these dating streets, that wants to get married, I'm telling you, y'all need to consider together living apart. Once I got the tea from my coworkers, when like they have been married for some time, they don't even sleep in the same bed with their husbands. They don't even sleep in the same bed with their husbands. When y'all start getting real nosy and y'all really start getting into married women's business and y'all you get them real vulnerable, you will realize that what you think it is, it's not. It's not. These women that's been married 20, 30 years, they don't sleep in the same bedroom. They husband is a roommate. Capricorns age backwards. You, Michelle, Cheryl, me. Thank you. It's the truth though. I forgot. I was with a group of women. I was with a group of women like a week ago. And even like the husbands or whatever, they thought that I was in my 20s. And I'm like, what? Really? They thought I was in my 20s. They used to sleep in different rooms back in the day. They don't even desire them anymore. Separate rooms. Yep. I never believed in happy weight either. I felt like men fatten up to trap us, or it's from stress. Yeah, I feel like the number one reason to start like before women have children, because I feel like the biggest thing is this. It's like when men are saying like, oh, women hit the wall, men are the wall. Like this wall that they're saying that we're hitting, it's men. Men are the wall that we're hitting. As soon as you get in close contact with a man, it's like, psh, oh my God, I'm overweight. Psh, oh my God, I have a low self-esteem. Psh, oh my God, I'm not making as much money. Like men are the wall that we are hitting. As soon as you get super close to a man and you hit the wall that is called man, you're gonna look terrible. You're gonna look terrible. Are you looking to have kids though? No, I'm not. I'm not. And I feel like this. If I do want to have children, like I'm trying to put myself in like women, listen to me. You don't have to do things the standard way. You don't have to do things the standard way. Ebony K. Williams was engaged. Her engagement did not work out. And she was vilified because she is a lawyer, and she was vilified because she had told Ayanna Van Zant that she would only date a bus driver. She wouldn't date a bus driver. She would only date the man that owned the buses. And so she was pushing 40, and she was like, you know what? Fuck this. She has enough money. She's like, you know what? I'm not going to do it the way that everyone else is doing it, just finding someone or rushing to find someone to have a child. So what did she do? She got IVF and had a baby and just did it that way. Instead of having, fear of missing out. Oh, I got to find somebody. Because that's how these women end up. They get scared because their biological clock, because you have men constantly fear-mongering women when it comes to their biological clock, saying that, once you turn a certain age, your biological clock is going to time out, and then you won't be worth anything because you can't have children, which already means that they don't value you as a person. They only see you as an animal to breed. So that's the first freaking thing. But you don't have to do it that way. Money, ladies, always remember, money gives you options. So always remember that money gives you options. So if you can't find the man that you want, because this is the thing about it too, you have to remember, ladies, I'm really happy because we are making more and more advancements, and more studies are being done on how a man contributes to the fetus. The placenta, they've been doing research that shows the placenta comes from the man. And they've also done studies that shows that most of the issues that happen in the first trimester is due to the man. In the makeup of your child, the epigenetics is about 50 to 60% from the man. So if your husband or boyfriend or whoever, baby daddy, whoever, if he is drinking, if he is smoking, if he is angry, if he is anxious, if he has depression and yada, 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 all that is going to you, and then it's going to the child. So all of his unhealthy eating, his snoring, and if he is not taking care of himself before the pregnancy, and he is in poor health before the pregnancy, you're going to have a horrible pregnancy. Okay. Your hyperemesis gravidarum, that came from the man. Your miscarriage came from the man. Your placental abruption came from the man. Your placenta previa came from the man. All of those issues are tied to the man. So if a man is not wanting to do the work, cutting out the drinking, cutting out the smoking, going to therapy, learning how to meditate, learning how to do yoga, all of these things to self-soothe and to get himself emotionally regulated and getting himself physically regulated, he should not be the father of your children. These are genetics that are getting passed on. Just because he a man don't mean that his genetics are worth passing on. Okay, it should be a privilege. There should be a strict vetting process for any man to be able to be worthy enough to put a baby in you. You're changing your body. You're putting your life at risk. Postpartum depression, body changes. Once they give you a C-section, your muscles are never going to insert the same way. They're never going to insert the same way. Once they cut you once, your stomach will never, your muscles are never going to attach the same way. We hit the wall at 30 because by then our frontal lobe, responsible for logical decision-making, becomes fully developed at that age. Exactly. Women over 30 are a threat to men. Women over 30 are a threat to men because we're not easily able to be manipulated. But back to what I was saying. If a man is not proven worthy for him to pass his genetic material along, okay, and put a baby in you, make sure you have enough money so that way, if you really want a child and you're really yearning for a child, you can get IVF. And guess what? Maybe you don't want to deal with your body changing. Maybe you don't want to have all those problems. Get a surrogate. Get a surrogate. I can't tell you how many women in New York City, they're older and they found someone that's older. There was a Black woman that I met. She was my patient. Black woman that I met. I think I forgot what she does. She does something where she is kind of like, she does itineraries and sets up meetings and stuff like that. But what her job is high earning. High earning. I think her husband is like a lawyer. And I think she's in like her late 40s. And then her husband is in like his 50s. And they wanted a child with together. They wanted a child with each other. They got a surrogate. They did. They got a surrogate. Because obviously she can't carry a child. But the thing about it is that maybe you don't want your body to go through all those changes. You could just pay someone else to have the baby. You can just make sure you have enough money and make sure that you have enough money to be able to plan ahead to do this. And I know it sounds crazy, like, but no, only celebrities get surrogates. No, they don't. A lot of common people get surrogates. They just make sure that they just make sure that they have enough money in order to do it. So you don't have to do it that way. And like I said before, when men are saying, well, I want to pass on a legacy, I want to pass on a legacy. The only way that they see fit to do it is to just impregnate you. If you want a legacy that bad, how come you don't hire a surrogate? How come you don't adopt? How come you don't give your sperm to a fertility center? And it's like what I said yesterday. A lot of these men just only want to give you a baby and then say that it's them passing on their legacy. They just want to do it to ruin your life. They don't actually want to raise the child. Because men don't say, I want to raise a child. No, they say, I want to have a child. Well, who is the one that has the child? The woman is the one that has the child, not the man. Until these men start saying, I want to raise a child, until they start using the word raise instead of have, I'm never giving them a baby. Never giving them a baby. Most men are very unhealthy. They eat Popeyes, pizza, smoking, hardly working out, diabetics with high blood pressure. Girl, it's them chicken wings too. Them estrogen-filled chicken wings. Oh, and also there's the World Health Organization. When it comes to the sperm quality, I forgot how the percentile thing works. I know I mentioned this before in another one of my lives. If it's in the 95 percentile, that means it's good. Because if it's in a high percentile, that means it's good. That means you beat 95 other people with your sperm quality. Okay, so for the World Health Organization, all they need is for men to have sperm quality that's in the 5th percentile. So they will accept a man's sperm. They will accept a man's sperm, and 95% of the population of other male sperm is better than his. That's how low the bar is. That's how low the bar is. So you have to be very, 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 very careful when it comes to what these men are doing. What these men are doing while you're allowing them to put a baby in you, because these men are passing on all types of illnesses and trauma and got you sick, and you're the one that has to deal with it. You're the one that has to deal with it. If you are trying to have a baby with someone and you sit down with that man and you say, hey, in order for us to have a baby, you're gonna have to adopt new habits. You're going to have to change your habits, and he's meeting you with resistance. You should never give him a child. You should never give him a child, because his lifestyle, his health, eating, all those things, it affects how your pregnancy is going to go. Remember when they used to say go half on a baby? Girl, yeah, R. Kelly had that song. Like, no, it's not half. Okay, it's not half. It's more like 80-20. Men only have to do the fun part. I think she did what was best for her, and everybody chewed. Oh, hold on. I'm trying to go back to this comment because it was about Ebony K. Williams. I think she did what was best for her, and everybody chewed her out to filth. So unnecessary. It was her right to make the best decision for her. Exactly. If she doesn't want to, if she didn't want to actually procreate with a man because she did not want to have that tie to a man, She's allowed to. And like I said before, a lot of this has to do with men being upset that they no longer have access to women who are beautiful and who are successful. Like every woman who over 40, not married, over 40, no children, they resent those women the most. And you want to know why they resent those women the most? Because they're upset because they didn't get the opportunity to ruin those women's lives. I wouldn't go near a bus driver either. Like, no offense. Yeah, exactly. Women are allowed to have preferences too. We got to hear men's preferences all day. We got to hear men's preferences all day. You know, she got to be thick. She got to have a low body count. She got to be submissive. She got to be fit, feminine, and friendly. We have to hear about men's preferences all the time. And as soon as you name one preference, you know, I don't want him to be short and I don't want him to be broke. Oh my God, what do you mean? Oh my God, what do you mean? That's so horrible. Why won't you give him a chance? What's the issue with him being short? He can't change the fact that he's short. How dare you? How dare you? That woman should not have a kid. Why? Because she didn't give y'all average men a chance to baby mama her. That way y'all can't say, oh, guess what? Someone baby mamaed her. No. Nope. She actually wants to have a child. She just doesn't want to have a child with y'all asses. I don't know who this guy is in the chat, but I have time today. I have time today. Because, you know, normally we don't get much traffic over here from men. We don't. We usually don't get too much traffic from men, which I'm glad for. Okay, well, if you have time, what do you have time for? What do you have time for? Why would that even bother you? Why would that bother you that a woman chose to just have IVF to raise a child on her own? Would it not be the same if you were to knock up that woman and then you just left? It would be the same. It would be the exact same. And aren't men are the same ones complaining about child support. Guess what? You wouldn't have to worry about child support if she just gets IVF. You wouldn't have to worry about her potentially putting you on child support. So what's the issue? These men want to get us in a relationship, have a baby, have a side chick, and then move on. Exactly. So she is punished for being responsible. Exactly. Like I said before, these men don't care about you having kids for real. They really don't. They really don't care about you having kids for real. They care about being able to just spread their seed, and that's it. Once they do that, they don't care. They're not going to raise that child. Oh, did you guys hear about Cam Newton? Cam Newton is saying that he doesn't have enough money to provide for his umpteen kids. Here's the thing. The child can have a male influence. An uncle, a brother. Men don't raise children anyway. Men don't raise children. Men just kind of come and go. But men don't raise children. Men aren't even considered the main caretaker. You mean to tell me that men are out here doing all the same things that mothers do? No. I can't stand this BS with there needs to be a male influence. There needs to be a male influence. The number one predictor of a child in their trajectory is how happy the mother is. That's the best determining factor for a child. Has nothing to do with it being two parents. It's based off of how happy the mother is. Babies don't like them. Cats don't like them. Dogs don't like them. There's like a vetting process that animals have to go through when it comes to men. They want children, but their legacy is non-existent. Make it make sense. Exactly. No one's going to remember you when you're in the grave. So why would they remember your children? Ayana acted like Ebony was crazy for having standards. We're recognized for accepting less when asking for more. We get side-eyed and stared at. Exactly, because men are charity cases. Men want to be charity cases so bad. It's like, why would you want to be a charity case? Why? Why would you want to be with someone that don't want to be with you? Why? Like, that's weird. I don't want someone to be with me just to be with me. Makes no sense. Makes no sense. How do men raise children? Please tell me. How do men raise children? Please tell me. Because you're using raise very loosely. So I'm very curious to know, how do men raise children? Like, I want the actual like things that they do to raise children. Because at the end of the day, even under a 2-parent household, men are not raising children like women are. They're not. They're not. Men don't even know their own children's allergies. And they're living under the same roof as their children and their spouse. Don't know the allergies, don't know the teachers, don't know the teachers' names, don't know the name of the school that they go to, don't know their children's clothes sizes. So how are men raising children? What influence are they having? Because men think that them breathing is enough. Like, men just think, oh, all I have to do is just live under the same roof with my child and with my wife, and that's me raising the child. No, it's not. No, it's not. You're just a roommate. That's what you just have. You just a roommate to your wife and your child. You're not doing anything to contribute. You're not doing school pickups, drop-offs, picking up, dropping off extracurricular activities, cooking for them, cleaning for them, waking up in the middle of the night to bottle feed. You're not doing all that. It's so true. Go, ladies, check out Dr. Gabor Mate's work. He talks about exactly that. I love him. I definitely plan to cover what he's talking about. Because he has I love everything that he has to say. He's very honest and very truthful, and he knows the statistics. Like, he knows the statistics. He don't care about what the statistics reveal. He's like, nah, these statistics reveal that men ain't shit. He's like, the results are in, and the results are showing men ain't shit. Men acting like they are rescue cases from the animal shelter looking for a forever home. Yes. My dad raised me, and I basically raised myself. Exactly. That's why I'm like, no. Men are saying that children need a male influence. Okay, how are you influencing the child? How are you influencing the child? I need to know. What influence are you giving them? There are some exceptions, but we are speaking statistically so we can generalize. Exactly. The men are funny. The men are funny. Well, he didn't say anything, so I don't know. I must have backed him into a corner with that one. Because the thing about it is that, like, ladies, I always want you all to make men give specifics. Always make them give specifics. Once you start asking them the question why, what, how, when, where, they're like, acting like they busted it up. Don't know what to say, stuttering and everything. Don't know how to answer. They're not natural nurturers, protectors, or providers. They have to be trained to be men. They have to be trained how to be fathers and still felt. Listen, no one just woke up. No one woke up and said, you know what? We're going to start doing child support today. No one woke up and did that. They found a pattern in men. And saw, you know what? These men are not taking care of their children. So guess what? Let's monetize off of that So let's make sure that the woman has enough money to take care of the child while also funneling money through the state. So the state's making money off of you not being an active father, because I don't care what any man says when it comes to child support. You're not going to tell me that an active father, and 100% active father, is being taken for child support. The issue is that men want to be called an active father when they see their child 6 days a month. That doesn't make you an active father. Seeing your child 6 to 8 days out of the month, you're not an active father. You're not. You're a part-time job. Your child is a part-time job for you. That's what it really is. I'm an active father. No, it's just you are a part-time parent. That's what you are. He said it's stuff that you can't see in the physical. Exactly, which means they're not raising children. He can't even give you, he can't even give me the specifics on what it means to raise a child, because you're not influencing the child in any way. You're not influencing a child in any way. There are also fathers who try to take full custody so they don't have to pay child support. Exactly. Knowing dang well that and then guess what? They get full custody, and then what do? They go try to find a new mother. They try to find a new mother to help raise the child. There was a TikTok video about that too, about how a man with a child. This is why I don't think women should date men with children. I don't think women should date men with children, because at least if a woman has children, in most cases, if she is single mom, she is single mom. Like, she got it. She ain't out here with her hand out looking for men to raise her children, because at the end of the day, the bond between mother and child will always be stronger than what it is between the father and the child, because the man didn't have a blood to blood exchange. That baby, what you had a 9-month head start with building a bond with that child. So you just a woman not going to be able to just, most women aren't going to be able to just trust any old body with her child. So women are actively looking for someone to take care of their child. If anything, a lot of women fear a man being in the presence of their child. And so women will purposely not date until the child is of a certain age out of protection for her child. Men don't have any bond like that on that level when it comes to their own child. And they don't want to raise him either. So they got no problem trying to find a woman to help him raise his children. This is why I encourage women to not deal with men that have children. I do not date men that have children at all whatsoever. And if they got children, they need to be grown. They can take care of themselves. But them having children, oh no, I'm not being nobody's stepmama. Nope. Most men have no problem walking away from the child, of course, because they didn't carry it. Yeah, they didn't carry the child. So of course it's going to be easier for them to walk away. They didn't get that bond already with the child. So to them it's just like, okay, whatever. They don't have any issue. They don't have any obligation at all. All right, y'all. I'm gonna hop off of here. I do plan to go live tomorrow, but it will probably be earlier because it's the weekend. So I'm gonna be doing this 5:30 live for the next 2 weeks, and then after that, I'll have to ask in a poll if you guys want the lives to be super early or super late, because I have to go back to my other job. And so I'll have to, after the next 2 weeks, all the live streams for the next 2 weeks will be at 5:30 p.m. Okay. All the live streams for the next 2 weeks, 5:30 p.m. Okay. So for the next 2 weeks, that will be the time locked in. So if you don't have a notification bell, if you don't have the notifications, next 2 weeks, 5:30 p.m. will be the time here, Eastern Standard Time here. Okay. But tomorrow I might do it sooner just because it's the weekend, but who knows? I'll probably still do it at 5:30 to keep it consistent. But to my lovely, oh, hold on, let me answer this question. My brother hasn't seen his biological son in years. However, he just got married last month to a pygmisha that has no voice. Heartbreaking. Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible. And they start a new family like it's nothing. But to my lovely sovereign sisters, I want to thank you all so much. Okay. If you're watching this after, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and then comment after the fact. I love you all so much. Thank you all for another great live. And I will see you all next time. Bye.